Welcome everyone, I'm Addamere and this is level 1-6 of Plants vs. Zombies Game of the Year edition. In this level, I'm desperately trying to dislodge a piece of grit from my mousepad. This is the first level to feature the potato mine, which is a single-use explosive plant like the cherry bomb. Unlike the cherry bomb, the potato mine does not explode instantly. Instead, it takes 15 seconds to arm, and then explodes once a zombie reaches it. Like the cherry bomb, it deals 90 points of damage to all zombies in this explosion area, but it only deals damage in a single square. That's still enough to hit several zombies, and they can be very useful in situations we'll see demonstrated in this and other levels. One of their biggest advantages is their low cost, which allows us to place them quickly in a pinch. But their arming time and slow recharge rate prevents us from spamming them, or using them as a weapon of last resort like we might the cherry bomb. So what are they good for? They are amazing at triggering the behaviors of certain zombies, one of which makes its first appearance in this level. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we get to see the new plant and the new zombie in action, we've got to grow some sunflowers and build some basic defenses. If you've been watching this series, you're by now very familiar with my preferred placements and timings of sunflowers and pea shooters. That's what I do here, just like in all the previous levels. Gonna skip right through it. But in this level, rather than focus solely on pea shooters, I want to show off our new plants. First, the walnut, which we've not actually used yet in a regular level. By placing one of those instead of another pea shooter right away, we're able to plop down another sunflower and still defeat the conehead zombie in plenty of time. While he's munching on the walnut, the new zombie for this level makes its first appearance in the bottommost row. This is the pole vaulting zombie, which has 17 health. As you can see, he travels faster than other zombies we've so far encountered. And he's perfect for showing off the situational utility of the potato mine. Placing it directly in his path causes him to vault over it, then proceed at a normal speed. This is the pole vaulting zombie's entire gimmick. He vaults over the first plant he encounters, then slows down after he's lost his pole. Here we weren't fully prepared for him, so he's going to eat our lone pea shooter and march on toward our sunflowers. Cherry bomb prevents him from doing any more damage, but it's an expensive solution, and the level becomes a bit more hectic, with a conehead zombie marching on an under-defended row, and another pole vaulting zombie appearing in the top row. As with the previous one, a potato mine directly in his path causes him to lose his pole, and this time, a walnut right behind it stalls him. I thought about getting rid of him as quickly as possible, but we've not yet seen the walnut really do its job of soaking damage, which you can see now. Whether acting as walls to stop them, or as walls for them to hurdle, walnuts effectively delay pole vaulting zombies long enough for our pea shooter defenses to destroy them. We'll just keep on building more walnuts and more potato mines as we get the funds to do so, in preparation for the final wave. The final wave begins with our defenses in pretty decent shape, having recovered from our one mistake earlier. But it gets really hectic, really fast. Not so much because of the zombies themselves, or because of how little space they have to cover before we have to act. Clicking sun motes, watching plant cycles recharge, and making decisions all happen constantly and sometimes very quickly. We no longer have the luxury of just sitting back and watching our plants mulch the zombies. Increasingly, final waves of levels will be a flurry of action. This is just the first taste of it. But with the final zombie in the wave dead, as usual we click our reward. A seed packet for a new plant, the snow pea, which we'll see in the next level. Welcome everyone, I'm Addamere and this is level 1-7 of Plants vs. Zombies Game of the Year edition. This is the first level to feature the snow pea, which functions exactly like the pea shooter with one important exception. It slows any zombie it hits, because it shoots frozen peas, thus the name, snow pea. Since they cost more than the basic pea shooter, they're not exactly a replacement, but having one in each row really helps in dealing with the faster and tougher zombies. If you look at the level progress bar at the bottom right of the screen, you'll notice this is also the first level to feature more than one huge wave of zombies. That's what that second flag there means. We'll be seeing that in due time. But for now, it's business as usual with sunflowers and pea shooters. You all know the drill. No sooner than we have our basic defenses in order, we must turn our attention to the first pole vaulting zombie of the level. Here a quickly placed walnut causes him to lose his pole, buying time to place our final sunflower. Soon our single pea shooter in that row is joined by a second, and they finish him off in short order and with minimal damage. Happily, we didn't have to break out a cherry bomb just yet. For now our attention turns to a conehead zombie. Now is a great opportunity to test out our brand new Snow Pea, which operates well near the front line so that its slowing shot strikes zombies as early as possible. That means zombies are slower for longer, giving our other defenses more time to whittle them down. And that's the basic plan, at least for this level. Sunflowers, pea shooters, and a snow pea, behind a potato mine and a walnut. I put the potato mines in front of the walnuts this time, because there are going to be many more zombies, and I don't want them to explode just to kill a basic zombie. Putting them behind the walnuts guarantees they'll quickly get rid of the pole vaulting zombies that bypass the walnuts. Meanwhile, everything else will stall and die. The first huge wave of zombies demonstrates the efficacy of this plan. The first huge wave also demonstrates the holes in our defenses, as a pole vaulting zombie charges down the undefended middle row of our lawn. Happily, it's by itself when it arrives, and we have a snow pea on that road to negate its speed advantage. For the most part, simply having 2 or 3 sources of damage on each row is enough to hold off threats. Even the conehead zombies that start to show up amid packs of basic zombies fall before they can inflict meaningful damage on our defenses. With the first huge wave of zombies defeated, we may then sit back and slowly fill in the rest of our defenses, starting with walnuts. As the lesser waves of zombies march slowly but steadily to their deaths, we complete our defenses and settle in for the final wave, with only a minor setback, the successful deployment of a potato mine against a wayward pole vaulting zombie in the bottom row. But it's replaced well in time for the final wave, though somewhat superfluous as we deploy a cherry bomb in the bottom half of the lawn. With about half of the final wave destroyed in a single powie, my thoughts then turned to beefing up our defenses even more by replacing pea shooters with snow peas. I could and probably should have done this sooner, because why not beef things up even more? But that's also a bit superfluous, as the final zombie in the final wave dies in the top row while I'm busy renovating another. We click, receive our reward, and a seed packet for a new plant, the Chomper, which we'll see in the next level. Welcome everyone, I'm Addamere, and this is level 1-8 of Plants vs. Zombies Game of the Year Edition. This is an exciting level because it not only introduces a new plant and a new zombie, but also the option to choose our plants. We have 6 slots, plus the shovel, and 7 plants available to choose. Imagine the possibilities. But for real, selecting which plants to use becomes a thing after this level. In general, I try to show off new plants soon after we get them, and this is no exception. As useful as the potato mine was in previous 2 levels, I think its job can be handled by the Chomper in this level. Plus the Chomper's new. And we've always got the cherry bomb as an emergency weapon of last resort. But I get ahead of myself. This is the first level to feature the Chomper, which instantly kills most zombies by eating them. Its downside is that it can only eat 1 zombie at a time, and after eating a zombie, there's a 42-second delay before it can eat another. During this time, it's vulnerable. In effect, I think of it like a reusable potato mine, for getting rid of single, problematic zombies. The first few minutes of this level are like most of the others, requiring us to efficiently build up sunflowers for income and pea shooters for basic defense. The game does a really good job of introducing new concepts to the player incrementally, which helps to keep the experience fresh, though the beginning of most levels admittedly becomes somewhat tedious. Hooray for video editing, right? And here we see the first appearance of the Buckethead Zombie, which unlike its namesake does not play a guitar and release albums roughly every other day. Seriously, look up Buckethead, he's crazy. Buckethead zombies have 65 health because of the buckets on their heads, but otherwise behave as basic zombies. As they take damage, their buckets become dented like the road cones of conehead zombies, and eventually fall off. Or they can just get eaten by a Chomper. And there's demonstrated the 2 new gimmicks of this level, the tough Buckethead zombie and the Chomper which instantly kills it. We only need contend with 1 at a time for now, but in future levels, they and even tougher zombies will become increasingly common. As with the previous level, a column of snow peas relatively close to the front line of our lawn makes for an excellent addition to our defenses, combining the effective firepower of an additional pea shooter with the slowing effect that gives us more time to think and prepare. Slowing everything down contributes to pleasant, relaxed gameplay that's perhaps not the most enjoyable to watch, but is very satisfying to experience firsthand. You should try it out. The final wave gives us opportunity to build a column of Chompers, which will be mostly superfluous in this level, but incredibly useful in later levels. A veritable wall of zombies creeps very slowly forward, spearheaded by the Buckethead zombie in the middle row. I keep intending to place more Chompers to fill in those last 2 spaces, but here I fall victim to indecision and the paralysis of choice. I didn't want to place it here, and then a few seconds later wished I'd instead placed it there, so I ended up delaying the placement, and not placing it at all for several seconds. Happily, we suffer no ill effects for my hesitation, as the only Buckethead zombie appears in the final wave, who is then promptly eaten by an already placed Chomper. Then we click and receive our reward, a new plant, the Repeater, which we'll see next level. Welcome everyone, I'm Addamere and this is level 1-9 of Plants vs. Zombies Game of the Year Edition. This is the first level to feature the repeater, which is basically 2 pea shooters in one plant. It costs twice as much, fires twice as fast, pretty simple. Our loadout today will feature the pea shooter, the repeater, and the snow pea. As with the snow pea, the increased cost of the repeater doesn't allow us to completely replace the pea shooter for early defense. But when all 3 are combined, we're able to mount a formidable range defense at all stages of the game. As shown in the plant selection screen, we'll be facing a mix of basic zombies, conehead zombies, buckethead zombies, and the pole vaulting zombie. I toyed with the idea of bringing chompers or potato mines to deal with the tougher enemies, but I think walnuts and cherry bombs will be sufficient. Plus, this way we can really show off the combined firepower of the repeater and snow pea. As shown in the level progress bar at the bottom right hand corner of the screen, this level features 2 huge waves of zombies. In general, we'd do well to have our defenses mostly in place in time for the first huge wave. That goal is made possible by our usual investment in sunflowers with pea shooters for early defense. But as we get further into the game, we're afforded less time before we have to deal with threatening enemies. In this case, a conehead zombie. We have enough sun for a snow pea, which coupled with the existing pea shooter secures that row against anything but a buckethead zombie. You'll notice that I made a bit of a mistake here. The snow pea should have ideally been placed in the 5th column, not the 4th. While we're waiting for the first huge wave, I fill in our defenses as necessary, with the goal of having 2 effective pea shooters per row. That can be handled with a pea shooter and a snow pea, or with a repeater by itself. But not with 2 actual pea shooters. We don't want that. It would be redundant. The first huge wave of zombies begins with our defenses still somewhat haphazard. However, the bottom row is already well defended, so much so that the pole vaulting zombie leading the charge barely makes it 2 squares before dying. Similarly, the conehead zombie in the row above him takes a beating from the 3 effective pea shooters of firepower and dies before getting any further. During this phase, our column of repeaters is completed, and shortly thereafter so too is a column of snow peas, thus reducing subsequent waves to a crawl. And once the column of snow peas is finished, it's time to fill our backmost column with repeaters and replace the early pea shooters. Against such defenses, even the buckethead zombie is whittled to death before it can reach our front line. Here the recharge rate of our plants will become a limiting factor as we wait for the only one we want to build at this point, the repeater. Were we in a more difficult level, or were I less insistent on everything lining up all neat and pretty, then our lawn would have more of a patchwork quality to it. But as it stands, everything is going to be ready in time for the final wave, and in fact, we will have a surplus to spend on cherry bombs should the wave become too large for us to handle. This right here is one of my favorite moments in the entire game, where the firepower available to us feels very strong and watching it work is just super relaxing. It turns out we don't even need walnuts to block off the zombies' advance, much less the emergency cherry bomb we have in reserve, as our defenses make short work of the final wave. But we'll place a cherry bomb anyway, because why not? With the final zombie dead, we are rewarded with something different. It's a note from the zombies threatening an imminent attack, which we'll see next level. Welcome everyone, I'm Addamere and this is level 1-10 of Plants vs. Zombies Game of the Year Edition. This is the final day level and it is a conveyor belt level set to a very fast tempo soundtrack, and that fits because there is constantly something happening in this level. I'm not going to be doing any video editing to speed it up because the whole point of this kind of level is that there's something constantly happening. You can't really slow it down because the conveyor belt just keeps on coming. You've always got something to do. There's going to be an endless set of zombies coming in waves, and there's going to be 2 huge waves that'll really show off the fact that there's going to be just so much happening on the screen at once. Unlike the last time we saw walnuts on a conveyor belt, these are not the bowling type of walnuts. These are just the regular walnuts. You place them and they are a walnut. They do walnut things. The cherry bombs and every other plant function exactly the same in this level as they do in normal levels as well. The big thing about this level that I find really enjoyable is that there's something constantly happening. I'm trying to go by a plan here where I put, the pea shooters in the 1st column and the repeaters in the 2nd column and the snow peas in the 3rd column and all of this because I like to keep things nice and pretty.
But the thing about conveyor belt levels is that you don't always have that option. You don't always have the luxury of putting things how you want them because you don't get to choose the order that the plants appear in. And that's fine. It's a fun little diversion from the way things usually are. In this level, we've got conehead zombies, we've got buckethead zombies, we've got pole vaulting zombies. Basically every type of zombie that we've seen hitherto is present now in this level. Also, every plant that we've gained access to, with the exception of the sunflower, which wouldn't do us any good, is also present in this level. So we're going to be seeing chompers later on. I'm going to save up a reserve of cherry bombs for later on in the level. But I'm going to be using a few of them as they come because I don't want the conveyor belt to get too backed up. That is actually a problem that I have when I look at these conveyor belt levels, is I'll get plants and I don't know exactly what I want to do with them. Because right now, look at that extra walnut that's on our conveyor belt. What am I going to do with that? I've already got a full column of walnuts. Should I start a second column of walnuts? Should I just keep it in case one of the walnuts dies? I don't know. And the same thing is true with, now I've got, 4 pea shooters in that one row there because I had a bunch of pea shooters show up and I didn't want to just have the conveyor belt be backed up. Didn't want to waste it. So the first huge wave of zombies comes, led by the pole vaulting zombie, as is become usual at this point. And I'm like, well, yeah, maybe I will go ahead and make a second column of walnuts, but I should also probably make liberal use of these cherry bombs that I've got. So the second column of walnuts, I figure I'll put them where I don't yet have chompers. I'm just assuming that I'm going to eventually get more chompers, and once I do that, I'll go ahead and fill in a full column of them. But for now, an extra walnut seems like a good defense where I don't have a chomper. As we get more and more plants, I'm going to be having to dig things up because, I've only got so many squares on my lawn where I can put any plants. Once we have the full column of snow peas finally, I feel like that's really the pivotal turning point in the level. It's the point where things seem really dynamic to me prior to that. And after it, everything slows down and becomes much more relaxing to watch, though not really any more relaxing to play because even once everything's slowed down, there's just so much happening on the screen at once. There's so many things that I could be doing. I'm having to constantly fight with myself to keep from getting the conveyor belt backed up. You can see me here wondering, well, what am I going to do? I've nearly got a full conveyor belt of plants. What plant am I going to place, and where am I going to place it? Happily, it eventually gives us some more chompers. I think I'm going to eventually put some pea shooters and potato mines, things I don't really care about all that much, in the very, very front column of the lawn. Just that way they'll act as a bit of a diversion. They're going to die and they won't really accomplish anything in dying, but it's a way to get rid of the plants from the conveyor belt, to have the chance to have better plants show up, and it's a way to slow the zombies down so they don't quite do as much damage to that poor little walnut. You can see right there in the second row, we've got a walnut there that's like halfway eaten or so, judging by the way that it looks. As we finally finish the column of chompers, the final wave approaches, and it's a doozy. You can't really see much of it on the screen at once, and that's perhaps one of the flaws of this game. It would be really nice if we could see, them coming from the street or something, instead of there only being the 10 squares wide of the lawn. You see them come up on the screen, they instantly die because of all of the stuff that's hitting them. But they all die. Final zombie dies. We click our reward, a new seed packet for a new plant, which we'll see next level, the puff shroom. Hey guys, if you liked this video, feel free to subscribe to my channel. For the next video in the series, click the button on your right. To go straight to the playlist, click the button on your left. I'm Addamere, and as always, thanks for watching.